Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. In today's episode, we have a special guest, Saint Wolf Crypto. So Saint Wolf Crypto has been a long time supporter of the channel, and I've been delighted to see that he started his own channel as well. So he's got some amazing content on Atropa. He's got a really unique perspective. One of my favorite videos on his channel was his perspective on the Atropa ecosystem as the Wall Street of cryptocurrency. So definitely would recommend going to check out his channel. So with that, let's bring him up and let's say hello to Saint Wolf Crypto. What's going on, man?
Steven, what's up, man? How are you?
Very, very good. Yeah, like we were saying backstage, man, good to finally connect and talk in person. I mean, we jumped on together, Richard Art Max's stream, but we didn't really have a chance to kind of chat to each other, did we? So
Yeah, that was super cool. I didn't actually even know you were going to be on that stream, so that was a surprise.
I didn't know you were going to be there either. So I think I was last minute times slotted in. So
Yeah. Oh man.
So yeah, man, good to finally connect. Good to finally talk. Like I was just saying before I brought you up, you're a long time supporter of the channel. You always comment on the videos. I really appreciate that. And those little things really help. And then when you started your own channel, I thought, oh, fantastic. Started watching some of your content, really, really good content, really quality content. So I'd love to know a little bit more about you personally. So let's just start there. So first of all, just tell us a little bit about your story that got you into Pulsechain specifically. I know on your channel you really look at a lot of things within Pulsechain and outside of Pulsechain. So yeah, what's your story in crypto?
Yeah. So I discovered Pulsechain, of course, like everybody else, through Richard Hart and what was going on. And at first, I thought it was just a layer one that we were going to get. And then as I think about October, November 2023 started pulling through, I started seeing some weird stuff happening on chain. And then that was around the same time, of course, I discovered some of your videos and started researching more deeply. And like at first, when I saw your videos, I was just like, I was like, this guy's crazy. I don't know what he's going off about. He's like, there's a universe being, but there's something going on here. And I was like, okay. And then somehow I was pulled back, right? Like I saw it again, or I was searching for these things that I was also seeing, these weird kind of breadcrumbs on the blockchain. And then I led me right back to your videos again. And then it clicked. I was like, no, this is not just a layer one. There's something else going on here that the Heartman is building that's definitely been in the plans for many, many years. And then I became really excited. And then I thought to myself, okay, does anybody know about what's going on here? And I discovered the 414 logs and all that. And I just started making kind of videos really from that Atropa 414 perspective because my point of view was just, look, I'm already here every night, deep in the weeds, obsessively going through all this stuff that very few people are talking about or understand, but for some reason was really pulling my my interest. And I just kind of was following that, I was just like, something's here. I don't know why. I want to discover this. And I thought, if I'm spending all these hours here, let me just kick on the camera and let people see into this. So I started just filming a lot of the logs early on where I was go through them. And and there is something going on. As you talked about in the beginning, the Atropa is the Wall Street of crypto was one of the videos I made not too long ago. So that's what I arrived at, was that that's what it's like. This is the Wall Street of crypto being built right here. That was it.
Is that what prompted you to start a YouTube channel? The whole Atropa phenomena that you was discovering, or was it something else in particular on Pulsechain, or?
I did consciously realize that, there is, people do discuss that, hey, there's this cult, vibe going on over there. And, and I thought, yeah, it's not necessarily a cult. It's just that people seem to coalesce together with people who have a similar personality type. And I thought, okay, look, I have a very different personality type from maybe a lot of the people there right now. If I make videos talking about the things I like in crypto, maybe it would appeal to a new audience and help them learn about what's going on over here or what we're all excited about over here. And I think the same thing applies to you. You have a unique personality as well. That's different from a lot of the personalities I know I've seen over the last couple of years. And I think that matters a lot because it allows a new type of people to learn, to be open to it and to see it because you bring a new perspective, So these new personalities are great. And I thought, well, this is something I can do. I can talk about the things that I'm into, and hopefully it'll resonate with a new kind of generation of people because this is just the beginning of something that's going to go on for a very many years. So, and it's DeFi, so we're responsible to do this also. No one's coming to do this. No one's coming to talk about this stuff for us. So we are responsible.
Exactly, man. So what is it specifically? Okay, so first, like, what's your, if you don't mind me asking, what's your background in the sense of, you said you're doing this every day. Are you like full-time crypto or?
I'm just about full-time crypto right now. Yeah. Pretty much full-time crypto.
Wow.
And I've built up to this point. I've been in crypto for a few years now and had started designing my life 2018, 19, becoming aware that I was starting to do pretty well and starting to I knew I wanted to live independently for myself. So I'd been setting up my life toward this for quite some time. It didn't just happen overnight, right? So, but the last couple of years, it's been full time for me. Yeah.
Wow, man! Congratulations. So you've been in crypto for quite some time. You're basically full time. You're basically living off your crypto profits.
At this point, I am. Yeah, I don't need other residuals. I was into not say flipping homes, but I was kind of building up properties. My brother and I were also in some residential units and renting and what have you. But this could 100% be my full time now at this point. Yeah.
Wow. Just out of curiosity, do you plan to kind of go back? Like, do you plan to use the profits to grow in residential and kind of flip back into cryptocurrency and just kind of flick between bear market, bull market?
Yeah, I love construction. I love making things with my hands. I've built furniture before. I built a guitar. I love building homes, refurbishing homes. I love real estate. But at the same time, I don't know if I would go back. I now live in Europe. I don't know if I would get back into it, only because the opportunities here are so vast and there's so much to learn to stay with it, because the growth is exponential. I mean, things are happening like crazy, right? So we'll see. We'll see if I get pulled in. It is definitely something but my interest, I guess, it's building things. So if that gets fulfilled from being part of building this, which I feel like that's happening now. I feel like I'm really a part of this and watching it being built and I'm helping add those bricks and those pieces to Atropa or just the Pulsechain ecosystem. Then I'm satisfied from the building point of view. We're the builders right now, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah, the builders of the DeFi, really, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, I'm just going to quickly say g'day to some of these champs here. So we got we're always crypto Elliot's always first. So g'day, fellas. Trev, Marcus, always love Marcus's comments. Thank you, Marcus, for your support. Clintron's also, man, thank you for your support. Ads, what's going on, man? Small Bunny, see you around. Jerry as well, starting to see Jerry pop up more. So just want to say good day to everyone. So thank you, everybody, for the comments, for the support. Really appreciate it. So, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's up, chat? How's it going, everybody?
The purple hearts. We got the purple hearts. Ego business, wisdom.
Ego business.
So,
yeah. What's
awesome.
up, man?
All right, folks. Let's hear what your perspective is, St. Wolf, on the Atropa ecosystem. So what got you, was it, okay, so you're saying my videos are part of it, and then you started to look into it yourself. What was it about the Atropa ecosystem where you're like, something's going on here, and I need to know what's going on?
That's a good question. I definitely, okay. I think for me, and I think this is why I was putting these videos and the Atropa logs, like being in there very early on and just spending hours in there reading through, looking at links, putting pieces together. I think because I had an understanding of Wall Street, because when I was younger, I had friends who were traders, who still are, working in hedge funds and are traders. So I think I intuitively understood. I think I got the feeling early on that somebody's building a way to create a velocity of money and create a movement, which I talk about a lot in that Atropa, the Wall Street, where currency is current, it's liquid, right? And somebody was facilitating the movement of this, like just like Wall Street does, where it's constantly moving. Because what we've known in crypto up till now has literally been a stagnant environment where everybody waits around for a pump, right? So you look at all the charts, they're just like they're just down and sideways, and then all of a sudden we have these crazy volatile pumps, and then we're back to stagnation. Well, Wall Street doesn't work like that at all. Money is constantly moving because it's like currency. Okay, it has to be moving. It can never be stagnant. Just like water would become foul if it was stagnant. Same with money. It can't just sit there. And so when I was looking through very early, and I was looking at these little tokens, and I would go on, in a deck screen or whatever, and I would go through and look at how they were doing liquidity through liquidity. And obviously, you were doing really cool stuff too. So you were also charting those connections that were happening. I said, and some of these didn't look like tokens that were just going to pump. So in my mind, somehow I think I started realizing early on that somebody's building a way to keep like fluid moving, to keep a current going, And that got me really excited early on, because at that point I felt I knew, even though we didn't know James or Maria Rahel or what this person was, like nobody knew anything, right? There was a lot of, is this, what is this, right? But I felt like something's going on that requires way too much effort and is not like anything we've ever seen before. And it dawned on me that we could be on the verge of a paradigm shift, like a precipice, like we're about to fall into the black hole. But just like when you're standing outside the black hole, you can't see into the black hole. You don't know. So that got me extremely interested and excited, because what's being built requires an enormous amount of effort and planning and thought. And we are on the event horizon. And because of that, it's hard to see what's coming. You know what I mean? But the thing that's coming is so huge and massive. Yeah. So I was pulled in. I was like, oh, I want to be part of this. What's this?
So pretty much it was kind of like your first, before I ask you this next question, is anyone else in the chat getting a little bit of feedback, static?
Oh, is there feedback?
Mic, or is it just me? Just someone if they could.
From my mic?
I think so, yeah. Or is
there is a button here somewhere about echo. If there is echo, chat, what's up? Is there echo?
It's more like a staticky sound, but it's not too, it's only just sometimes. It could also be me, but anyway, we'll see what the chat says. But
okay.
Yeah, what I wanted to ask then, so basically your understanding, your perspective of traditional finance was kind of like the foundation for your understanding for the Atropa ecosystem, where something here is much more, there's something going on here more than just a few tokens that are moving together.
Yes, exactly. And the important thing was, it dawned on me that I didn't think in crypto, everybody makes a token with the intention to pump it at some point, or it's going to pump, right? But my feeling when I discovered the Atropa and all these connections was the dawning that some of these are never going to pump. And that was a turn for me. That means somebody is creating some places to just suck in liquidity and move it somewhere else. And these aren't going to pump ever. Right? Like that's weird, right? That's not normal in crypto. You wouldn't make a token that you didn't intend to pump at some point. And now I don't know if I'm right about this, but I got the feeling that a lot of these tokens being built were never intended to pump, but they had an intention. And then, you kept digging from there to understand, oh, okay. there's a city being built that's going to move monetary value around.
Right.
Yeah. Like that intention wasn't there to pump, that these weren't going to pump. And that was a big, like, wait a minute. Something's different, very different here.
I feel you, man. That's pretty much one of the things that really gravitated me towards the system at the start as well. I mean, obviously the first ones I would have heard about was Teddy Bear, PDI, Atropa. But then when I actually started looking at, there was this whole network of tokens, and I remember I had like one of my first videos on it. There was like four charts side by side. Like
I remember this.
This was back with all these different charts and seeing some are up, some are down, and also seeing like there's like a relationship here that I don't fully understand, but it's not. It's completely unique. It's completely unique.
Right. I know this video really well, and this is the one. This is cool. I know these charts. And I remember when you were, man, I probably seen this video a couple times at least, because you were on it, man. Yeah, you were on it, dude. And I think some of us are coming to some of these conclusions now. Finally, like, you know, we're seeing all this, and we're arriving now finally at these conclusions, that these aren't intended to pump. So what is the intention? Yeah, so you have to realize that. It's not what we think it is, you know. Because you don't need to do all this to pump a layer one. There's something else happening.
Right. And
also,
so what's that? Sorry.
No. Well, also somebody is preemptively, and this is what I'm going to talk about in Atropa Part 2. So I don't give everything away, but the catalysts that are coming, somebody is preemptively realizing that a paradigm shift in financial markets is coming as well. It's not just for crypto, because for crypto is becoming mainstream, right? For that to happen, there has to be a space for that, and other things are going to change violently. You know, I don't mean to use that word, but really it's going to be very abrupt and shocking. It's not just going to step in and all of a sudden we're just going to be like, banks are just going to be everything fine. There's going to be some changes, and I think the some of these smart brains have thought about this too, and so there's things in here we probably don't even couldn't begin to understand that they've been thinking about way ahead, of how to mitigate the crises that will inevitably come, or not crises, but we're going to come head to head, and how it's going to meld with the banking system we have now, how they're going to integrate it. It's going to be we're about to mash up pretty soon.
And it's so fascinating, because that's definitely one of the senses that I got when I first started looking at it. I think also at the time somebody was talking about true DeFi, and I was like, hang on a minute, this Atropa ecosystem actually is, or potentially could be, true DeFi. It could be the infrastructure for what a truly decentralized financial system could be. It's not like, in my mind, it was like, all of a sudden now everyone's like, the US dollar's going to go out the door and all the world's going to come to Atropa. That's not how I looked at it. It was, but it was like, this is laying the foundation for what a system could be in the future that actually operates as a system, instead of all of crypto just being a pump and a dump, extract liquidity. There's like 5% that win, 95% do round trips and they lose. This was actually something completely different.
Yes.
That was my sense from the start.
Right. 100%.
It's cool that, I mean, isn't it fascinating how much people really, the people that don't get it, how much they hate it, and I'm like blown away. Like, even this, I had someone just now commenting on I did it's just as a joke, man. Like, I just one day I was like, the P stables, the USP, USDT, PUSDC, and PDI, and then I was like, the Holy Trinity, and put like Maria in the middle. That would be like a really funny meme. And like, some people just take it so seriously, and they're like, why PDI is a scam, and why I hate PDI, and PDI is the worst. And it's like, man, just lighten up. Like, no one is going to. You telling me that I'm an idiot for buying this is not going to make me go, okay, thanks for telling me I'm an idiot. I'm going to listen to you now. I'm not going to believe like the hundreds of hours of education that I've put into this. I'm now going to change my mind and delete all of this. Like, you're better off just talking about the things that you like. The amount of hate that it gets is like, how? why? Like it's such an exciting thing to when you start to wrap your mind around it. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most thrilling thing in cryptocurrency at the moment. I can't think of anything more exciting.
Did this happen? Did this happen on Twitter?
Yeah, of course it
Okay,
happens
okay,
on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah. So these battles, I've been seeing them go down on Twitter, and you know, there's two things. One is you have this new entrant. It's not the Heartman. It's Maria Rahel, right, as we call this person, right? So first, so one, a lot of people think this person is a scammer, or they're afraid of this person, right? Because it's obvious if the person's real, it means they have definitely they are working with the Heartman, or in the past have a deep connection with the Heartman or the planning of this. I at least I would think so, right? So that's probably very frightening to a lot of people.
Why do you think that would be frightening to people?
Because they want it to be the Heartman. It's kind of been him for a long time, right? And I think in some way it means, maybe this is a stretch, but that they weren't chosen to work with him. I don't know. Maybe. And envy, it's like an envy thing, right? Maybe. Because now this person who came out of nowhere has this power or whatever, right? They're making all this cool stuff that's supposedly connected to origin wallets or whatever. And then two, I think obviously it is a paradigm shift. And the paradigm shift is realizing that we can't, it's not going to be this stagnant crypto environment with a few pumps, and we're going to have this 20x here and a 20x there and this and that. That's what people want, is just waiting for this thing. And what we're not saying is there's a stable coin that's going to peg to $1, and then there's this Atropa thing that's being built in Pulsechain, and is that going to take monetary value away from Pulsechain? I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I wonder, there is a lot of fear. Like, I feel you, and I have seen some of these attacks that people are doing. So,
I mean, when I've listened to Maria talk, when I've listened to him in every interview as well, it's like, I don't get that sense from him. And like, I just don't get a negative vibe. I just get, oh, this guy's sincerely trying to do something good for Pulsechain.
Yeah.
And then people calling it a scam. It's just like, but do you actually understand how it's almost literally impossible for him to, like, how's he, like, what the amount of effort that has been put in to get it to this point? Like, how are you possibly going to scam? You can't, you like, there's hundreds of these tokens, and it seems like he's working day and night to build this ecosystem. Like, if it was a scam, it would have already been rug pulled. So like, this kind of argument really just blows my mind. It's like, I don't know. People are just such poor judges of character.
Yeah. So you think a lot of people are still doing the whole, like, oh, this is a big elaborate scam going on, that kind of thing?
I have no idea. That must be what they think, because I saw it today in another tweet. Like, I think something Somi posted about one of the, in the chat log, 9-inch, and it was 9-inch or 9 mil or something like this. I don't know what it was. And I was just like, people take it so seriously. It makes me laugh. I'm like, man, that reminds me of like my first foray into the chat logs. When I first started reading the chat logs, I was like, man, this guy is batshit insane. He's talking like about magnesium. He's talking about like opiates and all these drugs. I'm like, what the hell is he even talking about? People read it like it's literal.
That is my delivery coming. So, gentlemen, in 2 minutes, and we'll pick right back up.
Go ahead. So, go
okay.
right ahead. I'm going to show some charts then. So,
okay, I'll mute my mic.
Yeah, mute yourself. Sweet, man. Yeah. So, obviously, today, let's just take a look at some of these charts. So, this is very interesting because, poor Zach. So, this was something I was waiting for the 1 cent mark on PDI, and I thought, just the way that everything has moved in Pulsechain, there's a lot of front running, and it's just crypto in general. And my sense was this was the top. When I say the top, I don't mean like it's game over. I meant the local top. So the thing that I was charting first and foremost, one of the things that I was charting a lot with the Atropa ecosystem was this kind of like pattern of cycles. So looking at things in phases. So, for example, this was phase 1. So this was the bullish phase. Then we had phase 2, which was the bearish phase. Then we had phase 3, which was the bullish phase. And my call, I don't want to say call because it makes me sound like I know what I'm talking about. But what I was looking at was like, okay, if we look at the amount of time it took in this particular cycle, it was May, June, July, August, September, so like 3.5 months, so 110 days. And then again, I thought, okay, well, what's it look like from 110 days? So 110 days was, or approximately this line here, I think. So I just felt, my gut feel was we were way too euphoric. We'd gone up heaps and we almost got that 1 cent. Maria came out. My gut feel was, this is our local top. And what I wanted to do was actually start selling a little bit so I could accumulate more at these lows. So now I'm looking at these lows, and again, I'm starting to see that sentiment all over Twitter. People looking at PDI saying, it's a scam. It was all these idiots who think that this was real are just gonna, they're gonna be made to look like fools. And it's like, perfect. Now the world is basically again now saying it's a good time to buy. So I'm looking at these dips, and it's like, some really good dips. I mean, PDI at 0.003. Even this teddy bear, if you look at teddy bear, so teddy bear, I mean, this is to the US, this is to US dollars. So with stable coins, for example, it is looking, to be honest, it's almost like it could even drop lower. That's what it looks like at the moment, if I was being completely honest. And simply because we haven't had, the first big dip we had was over 90%. We haven't had another one of those epic dips yet. So the sentiment across Pulsechain in general is really bad. Now, my gut feel is that it is probably going to, it will go to an 80 to 90% drop, and no one's going to like it, and people might hate me for saying that, but that's just my gut feel. But it also potentially might not go that far because of the burnt liquidity. So it might only reach a particular floor where it might only be like a 70 or 80% dip. So I want it to go to 90% so I can scoop up more. But in reality, I don't think it will because of the burnt liquidity and the way that the Atropa ecosystem is set up. So one of the big things about the liquidity bonding is all that needs to go up is PDI, and it'll drag up the whole ecosystem with it. That's the thing, because everything's bonded together the way that the R bots work. Everything will just get pulled up if only one thing goes up. And so all eyes are on PDI. And because this is one of Maria's big goals with the P stables, this is definitely something that I like to keep my attention on. So there's good buys if you're looking to scoop up more in the Atropa ecosystem, that's for sure. Even BFF, BFF, 50% off, over 50% off to the 8K. So BFF at the late. So keep an eye on this. I'm actually wanting to help the community on this one. So because I've got some cool T-shirt ideas that I want to end up launching if people want to buy those as well. So all right, we got Saint Wolf back. Where were we, man?
What's up, dude? You were telling me the Somi story.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think that was it, really. So yeah, just the level of hate. So because of the level of
hate, back to the hate.
Because of the level of hate that I'm seeing now, it's really a buy signal. It's a buy signal. Like whenever.
The third thing it's doing is it's distracting people from buying tokens that I think people who've been in the ecosystem for a long time want to put out, because a lot of attention is going to PDI, Teddy Bear, Atropa. It's also it's back to envy, literally, I think, and also not understanding that there's other things happening, not just your latest token you're trying to pump or whatever.
It is. It's envy as well, and unfortunately, it comes down to self-centered greed as well.
Just greed, good old greed.
Yeah, very much. They'll quite often, they come under the guise of education. I'm here to protect people. I'm here to educate them. But in reality, what you want is for those people to come and buy your shit. That's what it comes down to. Let's not sugarcoat this. Just be honest, because I can see right through you, and everybody else can too.
You touched it, man. You touched the nerve. That's
it. It's like nature, man. It's so once you understand the construct of the mind, it's like it's so
Yeah,
see-through. It's so
it is, man.
see-through.
It is, man. Everything comes back to those basic tenets, right?
Mm,
Never underestimate the greed of the other guy.
sadly.
Sadly, yeah. But yeah, this
Mm.
is cool. You were just also talking about teddy bear, and what percent is burnt on the liquidity? You said, or with
Teddy
which
bear,
pair?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know, like, I know it would have a huge chunk burnt in liquidity. I was looking at Atropa the other day. So just on the first page of Atropa, there was like over 64% in liquidity for Atropa. I don't know how much it is for teddy bear, but teddy bear would be a substantial amount as well. So this was one of the things
Buying
that
more
I
Atropa.
saw. Sorry.
How many buy more Atropa now? If it's like
Yeah, man. Well,
that's great.
exactly. I mean, everything is a sweet dip. So this was one of the things that was going around with the amount of liquidity. But again,
Yeah.
that's one of the unique things about the Atropa ecosystem is
So
it's not just about its connection to Pulse.
it's hard to say because we don't know how high things are going to go. I think they're obviously they always go higher than we think. So they just always does, and we don't know the adjustments that could happen in the liquidity in the future.
Mm.
And but but there certainly will be a floor. You know,
There will be.
there
Yeah.
will be, there will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. But there's still a
So
lot of uncertainties for sure.
what's your feel towards a floor? So as I was mentioning while you were just sorting out the delivery, I was
Right.
saying I don't think we're going to get a 90% dip because of the way the burnt liquidity is, but you just never know. What's your feel with your experience in cryptocurrency and the way that you've started to come to understand the Atropa ecosystem? Do you think it can have a dip that's going to be that deep? What's your gut feel?
My gut feel is that when everyone's scared, they hit the sell button in crypto, for sure. Okay,
Mm,
because just as we talked about greed and envy, the next one is fear, and
that's a
you know
great.
when the market's reversed and that sentiment shift happens, fear enters the market. You know, whether that was FTX scaring the daylights out of everybody or whatever it is, there's some reason for a new thing. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be aliens or a war or the next FTX or what, but something they'll have something that, and when people get fear, they hit the sell button. Now, the other thing that we can't anticipate either is how high things are going to go because, see, I mentioned in that Wall Street video that we haven't seen a bull run yet. And the reason I said that is because real money hasn't really entered crypto yet, and I think it's coming. Okay, there's like a waterfall of money coming, and what Atropa is anticipating, or just Pulsechain, what the Heartman and NASA Man are anticipating, is that a place for all this liquidity to flow into, all these pathways. All right, and the amount of liquidity in the world or just in this economic system is, I don't think people really understand. They really don't understand how little money is actually in crypto. People really don't get yet. And when the real money comes, how high things are going to go you haven't seen a bull run yet. Like when this goes, like what Bear could do because memes are becoming brands for the layer one, 100%. Like you're not going to wear a Pulse Chain t-shirt. You're going to wear the teddy bear. You're not going to wear a base chain sponsorship. It's going to be Brett or whatever that is for that chain. So teddy bear these new memes aren't just going to stop at 20, 30 billion like we thought before. They may go into, 100 billion, hundreds of billions. And that's only because the layer ones are going to go into hundreds of billions, like the amount of liquidity coming into cryptos is you can't really fathom it right now. You can't really fathom it. So, and when fear hits from those heights, there will be a drop. There will be a drop. It's just not, it'll still be better than what you think though, because it'll have gone so high,
Would you say, I'm looking at this now and I feel like we're already possibly even experiencing, like these charts to me are all expressing some of that fear, some of that FUD that's probably permeating through Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, teddy bear doesn't have enough liquidity, and then we see it drop out of this range which it's held for well, geez, since the start of the year. It's held this range since the start of the year. Now it started to fall out of this range to the US dollar.
Yeah, I remember that tweet. You liked it? The guy was like, "Oh, I can't sell it. There's no liquidity."
Mm.
That was the best tweet. See, the thing is, on my chart, I have a Head and Shoulders that was playing out that had started being built in May 29th, and it's following it to a T. So the news to me is just, or the FUD is just news and extra stuff. But I already see the price had to let out some air, and we've been in that range. Yeah, you're right. Since the beginning of the year, we had a really big run up, man. That was a lot of energy, and I know log chart doesn't show it that well, but I think the come down is almost done. It's almost done. You know,
I think so too.
Yeah, it's almost done. What did you have as your support? What you put? You think it could go all the way down there? It's possible.
Oh, that's just an arbitrary line, but we just. That was just me just drawing something. So this was so we're at minus 64% from the top.
Yeah.
If we go from using technical analysis, I would say if it's going to get as low as anything, that's probably as low as I could see it go. And that's that's only 75. It could even drop down to here 80%. It really depends. It really just depends what's going to happen over the next month or so, to be honest. So
yes. So my target, and I put it in my teddy bear video update I did. It's in there. It's 72% down to 0.0701235. That's just a target. You know, I certainly think that if it could be front run, but I think that's around where you. I think that's around where you have it drawn too, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So
right on.
1.25 here, so I'm just the one
Nice.
the line below. So this is essentially, I mean, this is so we're pretty much in agreement on this. So
yeah,
I mean,
I think we've got
a great one to trade if you're into trading. I mean, look at this range that it's just been in for months. How good would that have been if you were scooping it up here and selling?
But I definitely want to express to people that, you know, this isn't going to happen tomorrow, but you know, these memes aren't what they were of the past. You know, if Teddy Bear is the mascot of Pulsechain, you know, going to 15 billion, 50 billion is not out of the. That's not a hard task. And you're now splitting hairs between a 15 million market cap and a 13, 12 million market cap. It'll be silly when you look back in the future. You know, this isn't like in the hundreds of millions. This is 15 million. This is a tiny cap right now. You guys are literally witnessing history, because when this pulls a Brett, when this pulls a Pepe, you're going to look back and say, like, what did it matter if I bought a 15 million market cap or a 12 million market cap? You know what I mean?
Totally, man. And
you know, like, it's the mascot of Pulsechain.
Right.
Like, if that's what you think it is, like, come on, it's 50 billion.
It has extra rocket fuel behind it, though, right? It has the whole ecosystem that's giving it a boost up as well. This is something that Brett doesn't have. This is something that Doge or Shiba Inu don't have.
100%.
This is the uniqueness. And whenever I just project into the future, and we're taught that there's a great I don't know what to Google, but there's a great thing that just shows all the what it'll be like the global assets when you were talking about. I think it's
the global liquidity charts.
It's not a chart. It's like a kind of a graph looking thing, and it shows like boxes how many billions are in, and you go all the way down, and then all the way at the bottom it's like derivatives, which take up like it just, you scroll and scroll and scroll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Derivatives. And cryptocurrency is like one box at the top, and then you go down, and real estate is like hundreds of boxes, which is worth like billions and billions, and then the derivatives are just billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions. If this ends up being something that has a potentially sustainable future based on its design, which it looks like it does, because it's a system, it's a technology that Maria talks about it as. He mentioned that in the last one of his interviews. If it ends up having that as a system, as a design, then it has a sustainable future, which means new liquidity entering into the ecosystem will look at these kinds of charts and go, oh, this is a safe investment. I know that over a long period of time, it's going to continue to trend up based on its
Yes.
design.
Yes, 100% correct. Like a lot of people, you know, on my charts, I've been giving in bearish and bullish, and I talk a lot about certain ranges that bother me. Like for example, I'm not bearish on Teddy, but there is this candle, there's this range right here at about 806347 that bothers me a little bit. But if we create a strong enough floor, we're probably fine. But you're 100% right, because actual liquidity in the future, when they look back, they're looking for these strong, stable structures with these immense liquidity bonds, and that's what I look at, and that's why I have my trading has been so good. Or why Pulsechain, for example, my video from 4 months ago, the price is exactly where I had it from 4 months ago, because there's just some ranges that need to be tested for the chart to have a stable, like supply and demand. All the zones have been checked out and tested and what have you. You know, for example, you see that where we made that jump in the range, the structure is kind of hanging on a spindly thing. So if it pulls down, like where you have your support, if it pulls down even a little bit more, I'd be really happy with that, because in the future it'll matter. It'll show a much stronger structure,
Right.
and give confidence to people. You know,
That's a great point. In the sense that it was able to withstand a big dip and continue.
yes, yeah, and just like architecturally, yeah, it's not all hanging on that one vector candle there. You see it run up, and once again, it doesn't have to test it and hang out for a year and a half. It can just test it for a week and then take off. Like just the fact that it went down, it adds a lot of bullish momentum to the chart. It stabilized, shows very stable structure, and price eventually tends to come back to these anyway at some point. But you know, with such a low market cap, sometimes in the beginning it can be so bullish that we can just blast through. But Teddy Bear's coming all the way down here. Hey, I don't mind if it goes slightly lower and we test a range, get it out of the way now.
Yeah, same. And I think
okay. Buy more. Like I'll back up the truck if the market cap halves again. And
or Zach's going to back up the truck. Zach is one of the Atropa whales, so
Zach would be very happy. And is 1 trillion Teddy Bear enough to make it? Henry Flores is 1 trillion.
This Henry Flores, yeah, is one. I mean,
yes.
There you go. Yes.
And Belta, I had no idea Bear could go to 50 billion. I thought 1 to 5, but when do you think this could happen? Now, when do I think it could happen? I think we're looking, no, not end of 2024. I'm thinking 2026, 2027. But anything's possible in crypto. You guys have seen the craziest things just in the last year, so you can't put anything. But yeah, I think more 2026, 2027, when you're talking 50 billion range. But it is the mascot of Pulsechain, and I think Pulsechain is going to do numbers people don't believe. So, but it's going to take. It's not happening this year. End of 2024, I don't think so. 2025, who knows?
I don't think so either. Where did the 50 billion come from? Is that something?
I think I said that because I think what Pepe had hit 50, right? I don't remember. I'm not tracking every meme, but the mascots are hitting high numbers, right? So
Yes.
I'm calling them the mascots. What's market cap right now? What did Pepe hit, or who hit 50? Somebody hit 50 on a meme.
Yeah, Moon King has spoken about these things. But in any case, yeah, I think 50 is definitely a stretch for this particular cycle. I could see one. I mean, 30 million market cap was our top here, and the liquidity in general on Pulsechain is so low. I see it getting up to these prices if we have to tick a few macro boxes here. So I think
100%.
Yep. The SEC, we have to be like everything's all sweet, and I love Moon King's thesis of the Matic idea, that Matic ran last because basically all the liquidity goes into this system, extracts it all out, goes into that one, and I want Pulsechain to be the last because, again, same as the fear, same as the greed, you can always count on humans. They're not going to care what the blockchain is. If I can just bridge some money over there and make some gains, that's brilliant. I cross my fingers Pulsechain is last because that means all the eyeballs go into it at the end. That's exactly what you want. I cross my fingers for that.
Well, the Heartband's definitely set that up so far. That's been his pattern. So we'll see if he keeps that up.
You like in relation to Hex as well, you think that was his pattern?
Yeah, he tends to run these things in between or at the end or what have you. So, maybe he'll do something similar again. But you said the macro, you touched on the SEC. There's a really big one. A lot of people aren't familiar, but there's charts. You can pull up a chart of like global liquidity index, and you can put in like every currency, the ruble, the won, the this, the that, and you can see that there's a trend line going back a long time. And we are now just breaking that trend line. And usually when we get to this trend line, we bounce pretty hard because all the governments generally start printing around the same time. So we're due for a massive liquidity injection. And based on this chart, something technically is going to break pretty soon. Okay, so something's going to happen, an event, because they don't want to just start printing money. They have to blame it on something. So you guys need to be ready for that event. So whether that's something breaking the economy, whether that's global, whatever it is, right? Something. And when they start, it's no, it's not the global liquidity index. You got to aggregate all the currencies together, like the money supply of every single one. Yeah, it's a complex. But somebody's got one. I haven't seen Raul Paul's, but I'm sure he has one too. There's a guy who has one, but I'm sure it's on Google somewhere. If you look up global M2 money supply, all global currencies, maybe something comes up. And it's a really cool chart. You see it clear as day where we are. I don't know why it's not on. Maybe I need to make a video and go into this more.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Because I didn't know, not everyone knew about this one. So we're due, which times really well. I think everyone feels something's about to happen, but you don't, are we a month away or are we a year away? That's the thing, right? So we're there. It's a big chart. So the injection could be quite massive coming as well. So when people also say like, these numbers, 1 billion, 5 billion, 50 billion, I think it's going to go much easier than people think. But I think you still have to be smart. You're not going to be able to just throw money at everything. You need to be positioned correctly. All of the world's money and markets in one visualization. What's this? I haven't seen this. Let's see.
Have you not seen this one? So thank you, Clintrons, for this one. Please disable your ad blocker. Go away. So have you not seen this one? This one is brilliant. So this is what I was explaining before. So this is all the liquidity in the world. So each square is representative of 100 billion. So silver.
I've seen this one.
Then this is cryptocurrency.
Right.
You've seen this one?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Well, look how much money's in the world. And then you go all the way down to, the global debt is the same, and then the global real estate, and then look at the wealth and the derivatives. It's just,
the derivatives,
I'm scrolling here.
It goes forever.
This is the banking system. What a scam. What a scam. The whole thing. And it's just like, how can people possibly say crypto, like it's just all a scam? Like when the way that Somi talks about it from that perspective, I'm just like, man, it just sings to my heart, because it's exactly how I felt about the whole thing from like since I've known about it. It just doesn't, a lot of it doesn't add up. I really want to find this chart, because there is a Raul Pal chart which basically shows like the seasons. He's got the seasons, and we're ready for takeoff in the context of this. So
yes,
it's on one of his Twitters, but I can't find it for some reason.
Yeah, just keep in mind some things they're not just going to announce. I think they're going to print. Something has to happen, so you have to be ready for that, whatever that is. Because they don't want to take blame. Oh, what's this chart? It's cool. Let me see if we money supply growth by country. Oh, this is cool. This isn't the chart I found is all of them mashed into one, which is super cool. But
if you've got send the link in the chat. If you find it. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I want to address this comment here, because I think this is something that I'm really getting more and more excited about. Dysnomia. So layer 2 for the Atropa ecosystem. So let me bring this up first. Affection.
See, knowing you, I know you're going to know about Dysnomia before any of us, and I don't even know where you get that.
Oh boy. Yeah, again, I'm just going with my feels for it, man. Like, I don't even know where I heard it. So let me bring up Affection 1 second. So, okay. So Affection, I made a video out of like, oh, this is how to find the next 10,000x in the Atropa ecosystem. And I said, this is clickbait, but this is what I would do if I was looking for a 10,000x. And I showed them the process. And then I ended up looking more into Affection. So if people don't know about Affection, just don't go and buy this straight away. Just listen first. Let's get the I want to get the candles are a little bit bigger. But basically, it's being minted. The supply is being minted to 1 billion. So at the moment, I think the supply is, so if we copy and paste the token address, we go to Go Real DeFi, the block explorer. I'm going to check what this is because last week or a few days ago when I did this, it was at like 3 million. And so what that actually means is as the supply keeps getting minted to 1 billion, the chart is going to keep trending downwards because there's more in supply. So the price per token gets cheaper. So just like the monetary system, when you have more dollars in the system, it's inflation. So you have your dollars are worth less and less. So then you have to go use a whole wheelbarrow to go buy a loaf of bread, like in the Soviet Union. So 8 million at the moment. So nowhere near 1 billion. But there's a Telegram group where people are sharing how to actually mint it as well. And this is going to have this is going to bring a whole new dimension to the Atropa ecosystem that I'm just like, okay, how would this actually work? And I'd love to know what your take is on this, Saint Wolf. What are you thinking about the Dysnomia? When I heard Maria talking about it as being like buy and burn rather than, so Atropa is burn liquidity and this is going to be buy and burn. So when this gets to 1 billion supply, that's all there's going to be. And then to enter into the Dysnomia ecosystem, you have to use Affection. And so when you buy another token in Affection, then that forever gets burnt. So it'll get to 1 billion and then the supply is going to gradually get smaller and smaller and smaller. So what that could do for the charts, what that could do for like just the whole ecosystem in general is like, I must admit, whenever I saw Maria talking about it, I had no idea what he was talking about in the chat logs whenever he talked about Dysnomia. But then when I heard him talking about it with KSB TV, a few little things were starting to ring in my head. What's your sense towards Dysnomia?
So what I know so far is that they're building a game, and it's called Dysnomia, and they want it to be a world, obviously like some kind of play to earn world, and a lot of these tokens are going to be used in that world, and that is about the extent of what I know. What I've extrapolated is that they're anticipating the play to earn economy, which is coming in a big way because of the rise of the metaverse and AI. It didn't go away. The gaming, metaverse, and AI is coming in a big way, and they're going to merge. And with the crash of many global economies that's coming, okay, I don't know if that's like 2027, 2030. I don't know exactly what maybe is it sooner, 2025. Is it before a war, after war? But with this kind of collapse of certain economies, they're going to reboot it by having, I think, new initiatives for people, games to play for people. Like sometimes, like if you think of your life and you think of the world we live in, it's like a big game, right? Sometimes we see sci-fi movies of the future or people playing these games, and we think that's like some other life. But like you're doing it right now. That cubicle you go to is a game. You're doing the thing and punching widgets and like filling out data, whatever you're doing for said company, and then you get a paycheck at the end of that week, right? You're playing a version of Dysnomia right now. Whether you like it or not, I don't know, or what your role is in that game. It's what you've climbed up in that game, and that's the game right now we have in 2024. Okay, and like I've worked myself up to this game where I'm more independent now. That I've been playing this game for just a long time, and I've worked into this place right now. And then you are where you are. Let's say you're still checking into, I used to bartend. So if you're still working at a club or bar or your coffee shop, that's the game you're playing right now. And the economies are going to shift of the world, and there's going to be new games for people to play, new economies. I mean, obviously there was that movie by Steven Spielberg, right? Ready Player One. We've seen that, right? But in some ways that there is some of that is coming. It really is. And you're going to exist. Some of the companies you go work for are going to be kind of these games. Like they're going to be more like games than they even are now. But you are in one now. Don't forget that. So Dysnomia is an anticipation of this, and somehow he is connecting it to Pulsechain through it via Atropa, and it'll be a place for people to play and stay in. And the key will be to keep people playing and staying because, one, you're incentivized because you'll earn money, you're building worlds in this game, whatever it is, and it keeps that liquidity constantly flowing too. Right, it keeps that economies going. There's going to be multiple levels of this game, economies and offices you can go to or worlds you can exist in, and you're constantly going to be doing things that are going to keep liquidity constantly moving around, which is also going to act as a pump. Remember, all things water related, which is all things currency, require pumps. Right, we have to move water. Okay, the channel, that famous channel that all the ships have to pass through, what's it called? The Suez Canal, or whatever. It's a system of pumps because that's how you move liquid. Okay, so us moving around is helping pump liquidity. It's helping pump all this fluid, all this liquid assets, right? So games are the thing that we do to do it. Just like when you go to the cubicle now, and you move that for that company or business.
Totally, man. I love that perspective because that's exactly what the financial system is, isn't it? It's just a fluid thing that's in perpetual motion. It has to continue to move. That's what keeps it alive. It can't be stagnant.
Yeah, and your job is not your job, but what you want to do is climb up as high as you can in whatever field you're in, so you get as much of that benefit as possible from that. And I think part of this game aspect is going to is to keep people feeling less and less like they're at a job. But at the end of the day, you're still kind of running the same thing you are. You know, you're working and moving to create economic energy for yourself. You know what I mean? But these P2E systems are going to feel less like working a job. So I think a lot of companies are going to move to this because remember, another thing most people probably aren't anticipating right now is how disruptive AI is going to be to a lot of jobs and companies right now. So we're going to have to come up with new ways to keep people activated and active. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people will figure out how to do that for themselves. That's okay. But a lot of people will want to just join a team or jump into a game that's already been built for them and get going, and that's okay too, So this is in some anticipation of that. I don't know. Do you know more details about Dysnomia? Definitely tell me. This is just what I've been thinking. And
no, I'm pretty much the same as you, man. Like one of the things in the early days of the chat log, when I was going through it, I remember Maria talking about being like at a university, a metaverse university or something for a year or two or something like this.
Yeah.
So when I started hearing about Dysnomia, and then the Discworld mud that he kept talking about, I must admit it probably wasn't as cool as I thought it was going to be because it's like, oh well, this is just like a text-based game. But I'm going to reserve any judgment because I think whatever it's going to be is going to be a massive innovation, and this could end up being much more fun than I anticipate. So basically I'm thinking along the same lines as you, but even from the perspective of can it be something like the holy grail of crypto is to be anti-bear market. That's the holy grail of crypto. If you can escape a bear market, which I mean the stock market escapes it in a way because it just it does have its big dips, but it won't have gigantic dips because they just end up printing more money, so it escapes the bear market. So can this system plus Atropa work in such a way where we don't escape the bear market, because I think it's just part of the ebbs and flows of any monetary system, but it mitigates the downside of it. That's the part that gets me excited. Are we going to see 90 99.9% dips like we did in Hex? I don't think so. I think we're
No, I
going to
don't think
see
so. I don't think so.
much less.
Yeah. Part of that dip in Hex is part of the game theory of Hex. There is always going to be some tokens that swing up and down wildly that allow you to learn those game mechanics. And if you want to play that game, and then some will be more stable for people, and if you will be responsible to learn what the game is for that particular thing. And the game of X seems to be massive upside and then a massive downside. And I think that'll continue. A lot of people that think Hex is over, that'd be the dumbest thing ever, because he's literally got the start of an amazing game happening right now, because it's going to swing massively now to the upside. And then once again, at some point, it's going to come really down really hard. And you'll be responsible to learn that. And if you can, capture the rewards in that game. It's a cool thing. I think Hex is going to go on for decades, for a long time.
Man, yeah,
I really do.
You're going to say sorry.
I really do. And by the way, the Dysnomia thing that we were just talking about, this is the food for a lot of animosity on Twitter right now too.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah. This is all. I think I saw something too. Yeah.
Really? This is again feeding into people's idea that it's a scam. Dysnomia is like another layer.
Yeah. I just see the word scam whenever someone mentions something from this, and it's funny.
It's like some of these people, man. And it's like I would not want to be an innocent person in when these dudes are on a jury. Like they are such poor judges of character. It's like God damn. How are these people so bad at understanding things? It's like really blows my mind. How are you playing Affection at the minute?
So for me, I've looked at the chart. I have not picked up any Affection right now because I'm uncertain right now how it comes into play. So if anyone chat or if anybody has clearly any more alpha on it, definitely share with us. Because Affection has been on my mind lately because I've heard a lot about it, but the chart I'm not liking yet. So what's going on? Yeah, who knows some alpha on Affection?
So the basic alpha that I have on Affection is, as I was mentioning before, the supply is going to get minted out to 1 billion. At the moment, it's at 8 million.
Okay, you were saying 1 billion.
And this token is going to be the gateway into Dysnomia. So if there's a whole ecosystem of tokens that are built around Dysnomia, like there is Atropa, let's just say there's all these tokens that are built around it. In order to get these tokens, you have to go through Affection. So the original liquidity pools will be with Affection. So I don't know, whatever the tokens are going to be called. Let's just call it Lover.
Okay.
A Shorty, and then we'll call this one Muddy. So
how long is this mint period for?
Until it gets to 1 billion. So at the moment it's at 8 million. So last week it was about 3 million. So
yeah.
But one interesting thing, when I realized that this is what's happening. I mean, this is where I made the video saying, okay, this is how to find the next 10,000x, and it obviously had a pump based on people buying it, but I knew nothing about it, and I even told people I know nothing about this, and then it kept minting and it kept going lower. And then when I heard the Maria KSB interview, basically he was saying it's going to go to 1 billion, and then it's going to be the gateway token. So it's very interesting to see that even now it's like really kind of stabilized. I saw it at 3 million when it was about here, and it's kind of stabilized. So people are really buying into it. I think my sort of general gut feel towards was that it's going to keep going lower, and I want to scoop up more when it gets lower because it's going to keep minting. But there's a Telegram Affection group where they're actually minting it as well, so it might not get to those. So I actually need to do some more investigating into it. Perks of crypto, I don't know. So there is a Telegram group for it. So yeah, check it out, man. I'm not 100% sure. So I just also wanted to quickly to say shout out to Kingsway.
What's up, bro?
Ram, salud from Texas. So
good morning, SC.
So yes, good morning, SC as well. So yeah, man, that's pretty much all I know about affection. It's definitely something
Okay.
that I'm keeping my eye on as the gateway. I don't want to miss out on affection in the way that I was late to Atropa. And when I say late, I mean, I really got into Atropa mostly in December, November, December. So I don't want to miss out with affection. I want to be at the ground floor and participating from the ground floor. So I think this
Got
is
you.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading about that stuff about, yeah, it's a gateway to the game. Uh, it's one of those situations right now where, yes, the price is technically like falling, but you're at a 23K market cap. You could just ape into this. I wouldn't worry about it. It's hard. You can't really. There could be a little more downside, but come on, at this point, you get 23K market cap for an Atropa token that the developer has openly stated it being the gateway to a game that you're going to need this token to trade into other pairs, from what I'm understanding. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna pick some up too. Great, we're gonna be front run. I'm gonna get up the video. It's already gonna be up 3x.
But we got heaps to go, man. It's going to go all the way up to 1 billion. So
It's still minting. It's still minting. Yeah. It may stabilize around here. This may be a floor because that's pretty low, 23K market cap. Yeah, it may just hang around here, make a bottom, so you'll have a little bit of time. But yeah, man, it looks good. It looks like it's mostly upside from here. You don't have a lot of downside left.
So Bouquet was saying 2/3 is in liquidity. So this is and yeah, I mean look at this. So this is with DAI stablecoin, man. So 1 million. So there's something going on here. I don't know who made this, but 1.5 million of affection and 1.5 million of DAI stablecoin. Like this is the it's getting set up. Wrapped Pulse 83 million wrapped Pulse.
This is 414 is doing all this. 414 said all this.
I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure whoever set this up, but probably people. Like I'm pretty sure I had some in this liquidity pool, but I think it was already created. So I'm not too sure who set this sort of stuff up. So that's definitely a way you can play it as well. I mean, you can just buy some affection and put it in a liquidity pool with Pulsechain and affection, or state DAI and affection, and as it's going down, you're going to keep getting more of the affection. So that's kind of like a safe way without having to think about it to accumulate, just putting it in a liquidity pool. So Kingsway, Maria mentioned it in a KSB TV interview. So there was an interview in Amsterdam with Maddie from KSB TV, and that's where he mentioned it. So, and as for the Tele Group perks of crypto, I'll make another affection video. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'll make another affection video and I will post that. So
I hope I put the right affection address in there. Also, I want to send you a picture really quick. Should I send it to you on Twitter?
Either Twitter or the private chat in here. Either's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, that is the correct affection address, by the way, everyone. So.
Coming.
So you posted that in the private chat, did you, or on Twitter?
I tried. I'm not sure why it's not giving it to me.
All right.
Okay, whatever. It just came on Twitter. It may not be that important right now, but yeah. So this is cool. There's a lot of mystery building about this game, and it's going to be exciting. There's a lot of building to go. It seems there's none of this is happening tomorrow, guys, but. And then also, greetings from South Europe. What's up, man? South Europe. You're in Greece? Where are you at? How do you mint it? Somebody's asking.
Yeah, this is something that I don't know. I have to go to the Telegram. I have to find the Telegram chat. So, but okay. Yeah, man. So
yeah.
Either way,
we're gonna anticipate your video for affection coming out as you learn more. Maybe I'll make one too. I didn't know there were so many people. I guess because it was such a big part of this game apparently. So maybe I need to dig into it.
either way, it's like I literally did that as like a just literally like, okay, this is a process, and I'm so gonna laugh if it ends up doing a 10,000x. I had no idea it was the gateway into Dysnomia until Maria came out and said it. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so gonna laugh. That's gonna be like a little blessing for the channel if it ends up being like a 10,000x, because
Yeah,
yeah,
that would be
it
cool.
was literally sheer fluke. So, but I tell you, on that, what's so you're even in the, if you don't mind just pivoting a little bit onto the mindset side of things. So
Yeah.
I
Let's
saw
talk about
you've
mindset.
updated your profile picture, which is very good to see. So you've got the third eye going on there. So
I had some fun with it. So chat. So Stephen, in the beginning, Stephen like helped me out a little bit. Like you were just super chill, man. If I could tell, he just like was like, I was making similar content, and so I don't remember exactly, but he just reached out and was like, "Hey, man, like you're making cool stuff. Here's some tips." And first one was like, get some thumbnails, SEO, and this, and then I slowly started tweaking them, and then realizing like, oh yeah, it does make a big difference. And so I put that one up. But when I did it, I didn't know if that's what you had in mind, because I guess it was a bit of a cheeky picture there with the third eye. But I was having a little bit too much fun making it, so I didn't just want to stand there, mugging at the camera.
it's much better. Put it that way. I like it a lot more than your last one.
Yeah. Yeah. So went for the third eye. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's where it's at. You got to raise your consciousness and come from a higher perspective if you want to really be successful. You can't trust your five senses. You're going to have to open yourself up and start feeling the threads that are tugging at you. And you're going to have your third eye open to feel that, to see it, so that you can pull in here and pull in there and see where it takes you. Because all your physical senses, they can lead you astray very easily. Very, very, very easily. So you have to get into a bit of a different state, and I obviously there's ways to do that: meditation, breathing, people have different ways. But and then you can really start to receive, not just, you get the input that's been coming in all around you from all the, because we're overwhelmed with input at this point as a society here and people. But now you can filter it, but not with your brain, because the third eye takes it into another part of your brain that you can't force to move. Like you can force your brain to like solve math and do critical things, but you can't really get your brain to figure out higher levels of understanding or putting pieces together. That comes from another place that we don't fully understand, but we think the third eye connects your brain to like the bigger brain of consciousness around you and all the brains of everybody else and the brains of all the animals and rocks and things in other dimensions. And when you can plug into that, you're going to get insights, and you're just going to know what to do. So it's important. A little bit of symbolism in there with the humor.
Do you feel like it's not a power, but how has that helped you in your cryptocurrency journey, having the right kind of mindset?
So one, you have to tame your emotions and be very cool, because the crypto market can pick you up and dump you really quick. But there's a lot of things that just pump and dump. And I wanted to be part of building something cool, something that was really going to add a lot of value to people and build a community around it. And I think that was definitely in Pulsechain for sure. But I don't think you can logically just see what's going on, let's say, Atropa, so many of the things we've talked about in this video, and come to conclusions if you're not in a certain frame of understanding of consciousness, or whatever that is. We call that the flow state, the open state, because nobody's logically okay. Let me put it to you like this: all the smartest brains, all the little prefrontal cortex thinkers, were pushing and figuring out this cycle. Okay, and what happened this cycle? What happened? Just, I mean, a lot of things. But first of all, memes. Okay, but some people anticipated that. But we had an all-time high before the halving. Who knew that? Who figured that out by crunching this? Nobody. Right? Did like your favorite like person or the smartest guy you know in crypto tell you that we were going to have an all-time high for the halving? I don't think anybody did.
No.
Okay. So I think crypto is changing, and I think we're going to have to come from a higher state of consciousness to understand that. I really believe this. Okay. And I have a decent prefrontal cortex. I can crunch some stuff, but I know now I have to stay in a little bit of a loose flow state more than ever before, because the brain's lost because they didn't figure it out. Why didn't they see that? Why weren't they able to see that? Because the critical brain is run out of its capacity. Okay, the drill bit is not strong enough anymore to go deeper. You know, so the third, and I love that when I found your channel too, is Coexistence Stevens, super cool. And I'm like, I knew, because that's why when I first saw your videos, I was like, oh, he's crazy. But then I realized, I was like, no, he's just in the flow state. He's putting all these things together because he's in that state. Because obviously now I found out you run a meditation center, something I don't know full what you do, but that explains a lot. You're obviously in that state. You're tapping into that place, so you were able to see it. You're being able to see what a lot of the people that are just crunching this guy, the calculator, aren't able to see yet, and that's what's frustrating them on Twitter. That they're like, but it doesn't make sense. Well, it didn't make sense. We hit an all-time high before the halving either, and nobody saw that one coming, did they? We have a lot of surprises coming in crypto, and you're gonna have to understand that, you know, you just crunching your calculator may not be enough to figure it out, and some of the smartest people aren't either. So you can't turn to your favorite crypto pundit right now either, because they didn't see this one, the biggest elephant in the room. We hit a all-time high before the halving. Why didn't somebody see that? Nobody did. Why? Because there's other things happening now. There's the more people get into crypto, the more bigger institutions, the more intention, the more energy, the more will, the more greed, the more is like simmering, right? Like we're existing on multiple dimensions, right? So we're in this physical, so we're like attached to it. But because there's so many people just thinking about crypto now at a high level who are actually very intelligent too, their dream states, you know, these alpha states that they're generating and outputting are melding now in with everybody else's and the bigger thing. So the moves are going to become more unpredictable and more volatile, because there is a game being played, of course. You know, everyone. So even without intention, it's happening right now. So these new surprises, even probably the people that benefited the most from this all-time high before the halving, they might not have even anticipated how it was going to play out, but their brains were now cooking and simmering for just being present with crypto and sitting with it, right? And so you're going to have a whole society now that's going to become aware of crypto pretty soon as banks make it very accessible. So people in their dreams, when they're sleeping at night, will start dreaming crypto. And you don't know what effect that's going to have, really, because this physical reality is just a reflection of really the real world, which is actually happening on other dimensions around us and in other states. You know what I mean? And we forget that easily because we're just here in this physical, right? So things are going to start happening. Really, you got to be ready. There's going to be things happening, and your smartest guy, you know, probably isn't going to see it coming. Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. I like that perspective. Do you feel like, well, just like you said, how you saw I was like in the flow state.
Yeah.
You felt anything like that on Pulsechain, where there's just like, it's more than just something that you observed. It's like a synchronistic moment, or like just a series of coincidences, or just like this opening up of things that just all line up perfectly and you can't really explain it. Have you had these kind of, I don't know how to define that kind of experience, but yeah, something that's beyond yourself that's kind of led you to this. I mean, I get, again, going to this 10,000x with affection, I'm just like, it wouldn't surprise me if it does end up doing a 10,000x, because I'm so in the flow that I'm like, I don't even realize that it's like I'm just saying this thing just as a throwaway thing, but it might actually end up being a 10,000x simply because I'm so in that flow. Do you have those kind of things with? Have you had those kind of things with Pulsechain or Atropa?
Yeah, I aped into Atropa pretty heavy, pretty early, and I because I started opening myself up too, and having the bear market. We all went through the bear market, this last one, and I've had to change because I'm also, I moved to a different country. I've had new stresses, new challenges, and I can't rely on just coffee and brute force, and so I've had to temper myself and come to a different level, and I think that did allow me to find the state, and I think Atropa is part of that. I think Dysnomia. I think NASA man is on a different level, and people who are drawn to it intuitively right now. You can't use that much logic. I mean, we can see on chain, Decentralized Me, I think did a really great video showing like what the wallets, Heartman's wallets or Origin wallets and what was happening there. So you can see something's going on, but you have to also feel it. You have to be in touch. You have to be in tune, because normally in crypto, if you're in touch or in tune, or you go with your gut or your feeling, you're going to be destroyed. Like, to be honest, like crypto is an amazing way of playing with your emotions, just like the stock market, right? Like that's why when retail comes in, your grandma buys it, she feels it, and she's about to get wrecked, but you had to be able to discern. You had to be enough of a state where you could discern that, you're being FOMO'd. Are you being FOMO'd in, or is this genuinely like, no, there's something happening here? You had to have that discernment, but you couldn't logically have that discernment. You had to have that state. So I think that was a big one. Yeah, man, I spent a lot of time in the chat logs very early on. There wasn't a lot of people in them before. And I'm a busy guy. Like I was there because just really something pulled at something at a very gut level, because there was no cash in there for me, right? There was not necessarily like they did release BFF in there and I bought it and it was very early on, but up to that point, I had already been in there forever and I didn't know tokens would be announced in there. So I wasn't in there incentivized by like, oh, I could be early to a project. That wasn't a concept. I was sacrificing my time to be there because I was genuinely pulled from somewhere very very deep. Like I'm like, I don't know what's happening here, but I just want to be here. I turn on the camera. I would definitely have some times I'm in there. I would just, friends would be calling to go out and I would literally just have a glass of wine and sit here for hours and read through the chats and like click on links.
Wow.
and I'm like, this can't be healthy, but I'm really drawn to this. Like I was really drawn, but not from here. Logically, you'd be like, this is ridiculous. What is this, right? There was something else and I just trusted it. It was the same way when, I'm assuming you must have felt it too. You like a knowing, like it was just like, I need to learn this. There's something going on. I felt it. Yeah. So definitely there, definitely all the time I spent in the chat logs, a lot because it was new to me too. And I didn't understand like a lot of people, like I had to like look stuff up and, really, yeah. And there's a lot. She was talking up a storm and I don't know if this person sleeps. I don't know if anyone knows James actually in person, they sleep or, because yeah, I mean, if you look back, I mean, it's just nonstop, like amazing, like working and chatting and dropping clues, and then BFF dropped in there, and then and I was one of the first people. I picked some up. I didn't know what it was. I was just like, oh, okay. I threw a tiny bit at it, and it went up, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And then more tokens, slowly started trickling in after that, I think. And that was kind of cool too, but I wasn't incentivized by that at all. I was like definitely pulled into it way before that, just chilling with it, knowing like I have to learn something here. There's something here. I don't know why I felt that, but once again, that was coming from somewhere else. You can't, think your way into that. Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
And so
I could feel it in my balls a long time ago. But he felt in his balls. That's what pretty much I was trying to say without getting graphic. I felt it in my balls.
Money. So money.
Exactly. Hey, cheers. Exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, money. That's going to be an epic story in the future. It's going to be an epic story because we started like a little fun together, me and a couple of the boys, and Muddy was just like, "Oh, I'm hearing about this Atropa and P-Dye and Teddy Bear. Should we put a little bit of money in?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, whatever, whatever you want to do."
Oh yeah, okay.
Go for it, man. I don't want to think about it, and it's like the biggest part of our portfolio right now. So
yeah,
hey, Muddy,
exactly. Atropa and P-Dye. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a great story in the future because, yeah, I mean, okay, so let's kind of round things up here a little. So what's your outlook for Atropa? Because I mean, there was definitely a point there for months where it was like, okay, I'm talking about this and I have that conviction, but there's still in the back of my mind like a little bit of uncertainty. Like maybe I'm crazy because everyone's saying I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But then when I saw Maria come out and talk, I was like, I'm sold. I'm in. I'm all in. I'm fully convinced now that this has longevity. If Pulsechain succeeds, Atropa is going to massively succeed. If Pulsechain fails, then I even see that Atropa could still do quite okay, even if Pulsechain fails. What's your overall outlook on the Atropa ecosystem? What's your conviction on it?
Yeah, what you said was right on point, and that's why I said in that video that what people need to understand, and I believe this, is that Pulsechain is going to run on the rails of Atropa, not the other way around. And that's going to piss people off when they finally realize that. Because what you said is exactly the reason that will be possible, because Pulsechain could fail, Atropa is not going anywhere. But Pulsechain is going to run on the rails that are being built by Atropa, all right? And this is really important. Like, people need to understand this paradigm. So yeah, it's the layer one. It's really important. You need it to get into the ecosystem and trade, just like you need ETH or whatever. But it's running on top of Atropa. You know what I mean? And Atropa is going to do mind-boggling things in the background. It's going to do mind-boggling things, just like the bank you like runs on Wall Street. Okay, it's dependent on the health of Wall Street. Okay, all your your markets, that we benefit from, whether you need a loan or something, it rides on the health of Wall Street. That bank can come and go. That lending service can come and go. That credit Visa can come and go. But Wall Street better not fail. Wall Street, keeps going. And Pulsechain is riding on top of it. You know what I mean? And I think it's pretty smart how they're doing it so far. I mean, I haven't seen any problems, but I'm not certainly from dev expert or anything like that, or I'm not a programmer myself either. So I have limits in how deep I can dig when I look under the hood, so to speak. But yeah, I have high anticipation for Atropa. Really, 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 it's really something spectacular. It's going to bring in the world, man. I think it's going to suck up a lot of liquidity, a lot. And of course, the biggest benefactor will be Pulsechain, of course. That's without being said.
Yeah, and that definitely seems like it's one of the strategies as well, with all the different tokens, the different token names, the different characters. It's really trying to appeal to like a maximally broad audience.
Yeah. That whether like Thai tokens, it's Arabic tokens, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. I mean, it's awesome. It's cool. Yeah.
Maria going to Zurich what was it, Greenland, to try and find someone to give the Greenland tokens to. I mean, that shit's wild, man.
Yeah.
Come to Australia, Maria. Come to Australia. There's an Aussie dude here. We happily look after an Australian token for you.
Yeah. That'd be cool, man. And when Maria spoke, obviously no one knew, before the reveal. I feel like I wasn't surprised by the character or the person I was seeing, because being in the chat log so long and listening to them speak and chat, and I did feel like there's a personality that had formed in my head, like an idea of what this person could be like that would talk like this and with that rate of speed and you're able to manage so much personality. Yeah, that's cool.
That was actually probably the most surprising thing to me. Actually, the fact that there was this harmony between the way Maria spoke and the way that he typed, and I couldn't understand the way that it was written in Word. Just a lot of it just didn't click into my brain. But then when I heard him talk about it with his words, it was like, oh, I've seen him say those things in the chat log, and it made no sense whatsoever. But now that I've seen him, heard him say it, it's like, oh, now I get it. Now I get it. I just thought he was talking some mumbo jumbo. So
yeah. No, I knew there was meaning to everything, man. He was an interesting person. I definitely watched some of the music. They were posting tons of like music videos and like crazy things in there, and it was a trip, dude. Yeah.
Very, very exciting. So we're definitely on the same page then. That the conviction is strong.
Conviction is strong with this one. Yeah, man. I've been waiting forever to talk with you, man. I've been waiting forever to talk with you. That's crazy, man.
Was there anything that you want to ask, or anything else that you want to say? I mean, I'm happy to stick around for a little longer if there's something you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely. I'm curious to learn about you too, man, and like where you're from, your life story. But we can chat. What do you guys want me to ask Steven? What do you guys want to know? Let me ask chat. You guys still awake?
We've still got a few people here, so they're probably more interested in the Atropa ecosystem, to be honest. I've mentioned a lot about what I do and what I'm all about. So
they want to. That's why I didn't want to. I feel like
why not?
I'll have another chance to do that. So let's see. PDI. Oh yeah. So we look. I think talk PLUSD. Oh come on, man. Well, I know you did a video on LUSD, right?
Oh, would that be Kingsway? Sorry,
liquidity.
Man. I did mention that I would get around to that, so I still haven't had a chance to do it, man. Like it's
I thought you made a video on it, didn't you?
I did, and then he's asked for more content on it. And
what do you want to know? What do you want to know, Kingsway, about it? It's another P stable. What else? What do you want to know? Should you buy it? Because we can also talk targets on PDI. I know everybody wants to know about PDI. Price targets on Pulse or Inc. or what else? Plus PLUS. He wants to know about it. The chart on it didn't look great when I last looked. I'm talking about LUSD. Are you bringing it up?
This is not it. Is it PR? This looks like a PRC 20 PLUSD.
Go LUSD die. Yeah, I mean it did exactly what I thought it would do. I thought it would return. It's now at. Look, it's holding its support. It's been on this trend line that it's been moving up on. You probably want to know, is this going to peg or something as well? I'm guessing. Well.
So Kingsway's out of it now. So, I mean.
For me, I'm out. Just need you guys' thoughts to validate my ego. Dude, somebody asked me about it too on my last PDI video. And my thing is this. You literally have a stable that's being supported by Richard Hart and the Hart Band and 414. You're already gambling in crypto. Why do you need to take it to a more extreme level? This chart is on an uptrend for sure. Is it going to peg or is someone going to pump it? I don't know. But when it did that pump based on, I think someone had, there was a little bit of like some influencers. It looked to me like it had been set up, this pump, because it moved up very abruptly. And then it came right back to the point of where it started. Okay. Pretty much. And it's not even holding on that strong, to be totally honest. So if the people that even made that released the info about it, why aren't they buying it either? Because at 1.7 million market cap, liquidity is only 126,000. It tells me that in a broader picture, maybe it may be more hype than actual truth, right? And once again, you have PDI. So for me, it's not that I think this is a bad project. Maybe this does peg as well. Okay, I'm going to put that out there. Maybe it does. I'm not one, but I'm just going to get PDI, right? Like why do I need to take another risk? It's another chart I have to watch, and I'm already not liking what I see just in the chart, you know. And I come from charts anyway. That's my first thing. So I'm not crazy about what I see. The way this moved, right? It didn't grab like a higher structure. It came right back, and it looks weak the way it fell into the support. The way it fell into it, didn't do it even in a strong way. It wasn't bought up very quickly from that support either. So there's a lot of things I'm looking at, thinking somebody knows something, or someone's just not more. It's more hype than actual stuff. Once again, could be wrong. Could peg to $1, but I'm just going with PDI. That's the one I'm putting in and watching. Yeah, hope that helps. You did the right thing. You said you're out. I think you did the right thing. For me, I'm out.
I think it always it depends how much of your position you're in there. But if you always have that in the back of your mind, like, okay, what if this does peg? And I personally don't think it will. Then I would just have kept a tiny amount. But you know, and
you said I don't think it.
What's that?
You said I don't think it. You said I don't think it will.
I don't think so. Based on the supply, the supply was in the trillions. It doesn't make mathematical sense. But they're burning, and so I'm keeping an open mind. And I basically did a video which outlined that there's a huge supply, and this is what they're planning to do. But I just don't see it being like technically possible. But I could be completely wrong. So I bought a little bit. That's you guys are not going to hurt you. You could throw a little bit at this and just keep it as a little moon bag if it does. But you got some good confluence there, right? Stephen talked to you about a little bit. He saw on chain. I just can look at the chart and give a strong opinion. I don't even need to go. But if you combine both the tokenomics, you combine with I'm seeing in the chart, and we're not super bullish on it. You got some good intelligence there, right? So let's go through some of these questions just briefly while you know, because you've got this perspective that's completely different to mine, which is what I really love. So just on this one, so Kings Meadow. So we spoke about affection before. So maybe go back in the video, probably about halfway through. Maybe we started talking about dysnomia and affection. So
go back about 3 hours. We'll have one of those streams one day. We will, for sure.
We will. Honestly, we will, man. But like on a Saturday or a Sunday, like I mentioned to you before, I'm like, normally I've got the energy to keep going, but I just feel sick these last few days. I mean, even the way I'm talking is just not I'm just not in the normal. I don't feel good. So
no, dude, no worries. I'm just ribbing a little bit. So what did you say? PDI. So go back. Affections in there. Let's look at PDI. I just did a video. I think, did I do a video? I just released one.
Just before we get to PDI, just want to address this one. So serious thought. Okay, we touched on this one as well. Cracked MMA earlier as well in the stream. So we were saying we can see it getting to $1 billion this particular cycle.
It's possible. It's possible.
And possible, and it has to tick some boxes, a lot of boxes.
Yeah. And it would happen faster than you would think.
So from a technical analyst's point of view, what's your next target for PDI?
So you have super strong support at I think it's 0.0025. That's super strong. I'm pulling up the chart. I'm just going off memory. I just released a video yesterday, guys. So if you go to my channel, definitely I go in depth in there with my chart. So super strong support at 0.00, a quarter of a penny. Okay, and we're super close. So for me, I'd already be DCAing because you're heading toward that. And I explained in the video that I think that may be the lowest we go, short of the market becoming tremendously more weak. And we would probably create another curved bottom like you have from back in December, but it may be smaller. We could just chop, so we could have some up and down action going sideways in this range. So from where we are now to a quarter of a penny, and it just chops to create a new floor right there. If the market breaks down hard, because let's say BTC shoots down to 50K or something, then you could see another dip, maybe to 0.0018. But once again, at a 70 million market cap, you're talking about dropping another 10, 15 million off the market cap. You need to have a DCA plan, short of the market completely crashing, which I don't think. Well, who knows what's going to fucking happen. But yeah, so I think we're in a DCA range right here. That's for support. Upside targets. I mean, once we consolidate around here, we are going to move very quickly back up to that all-time high. It's going to happen very quickly, guys. You're going to see some big green candles are going to happen very quickly. We'll probably get up to the we'll blast. I think we'll have a little bit of selling at a penny. Of course, that's just a psychological target. But at 0.009 cents, which is the old all-time high, you're going to have a little bit of resistance. But we're going to get up to 0.015 cents very quickly. Okay, so that's something to look forward to coming next. You know the final target, right? Does anybody not know the final target? But 0.015 cents is going to be a next place we're going to get to very quickly, guys, very quickly. So
0.015, you think, is the next big target?
Yeah.
I like that. I'm in agreement. And if I was
I'm going to run some fibs really quick for you too. I just look at structure. I'm really quick on all the structure, but let me pull up some fibs for you really quick too, because we can go technical. Oh my God! Guess what? The 1.618 fib goes to 0.01469, and I pulled that 0.015. I just did that from looking at the structure. So so the 1.618 is 0.01469. So yeah, that would be the first stop. Next stop would be the 3618 up here. So around 3 cents. So yeah, man, this looks good. I like it.
Wow.
Yeah, I have like an eye for shapes. Like I really look at structure very carefully. I think maybe from construction, building stuff. I don't know. I've always had that though. When I was little. Like I can look at that without even pulling fibs. I can see.
Just get a sense of it.
A sense, yeah. You can see that.
Nice. There we go. So go check out this video as well, boys.
Kingsway, just look at tokens and not dollars, bro. Independence out of steel. Independence. This Bouquet said Inc. was on testnet at 8,000. I remember hearing about this. A lot of people talked about this very early on, that on testnet it was at 8,000 USD. I don't want to tell you my price target for Inc. because I didn't even know that it was 8,000, but I was. Should I just say it?
Go ahead.
I think 4K is pretty realistic, man.
Wow, for Inc.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do.
I mean, I personally discount whatever the prices were on the testnet. So
yeah,
if it got,
yeah,
I wouldn't pay too much attention personally.
Hey, so maybe it makes, now that I heard that it was 8K on the testnet, I'm like, well, 4K is half of that. Maybe I won't be too far off, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, obviously, I think somewhere from like 500 to 1K is certainly very realistic and is happening. But I don't remember how I was running. I'm going to make a video on Inc. To show it. But yeah, I think 4K can happen, man. I do.
And this question here is probably a very tough question to kind of answer. I was gone for a while, but what would you advise a new person in Pulsechain? What would you say, St. Wolf? I've got an answer, but I'm curious what your answer would be.
How's the question phrased? In what terms?
So he was just saying he was gone for a while. I think he meant maybe he stopped watching the stream because I recognize him from earlier. But what would you advise a new person in Pulsechain?
They just got to Pulsechain. They got a little bit of bag, a few bullets. What should they do?
That's true. Yeah, so it depends on the context and build. That's it. That's what St. Wolf is getting at.
Okay. I'm assuming that's the context. My recommendation would be, obviously, you need to get some pulse. I think that the 4 core coins are going to do great. I think Pulse, PulseX, Incentive, and Hex. Okay. And I know a lot of people don't think Hex. I think the Hex game is going to continue. I really do. And I think you're going to do really well. But outside that, I think Teddy Bear is going to do awesome, man. I really do. And I think that the next one might be P-Die. I think that's very strong, and I think we have a really strong upside target for that. And I even think Maria Rahel also said that in the last thing, where P-Die was one of the strongest plays from her, if I remember correctly. Now I think Atropa too, but if you're just like new, and that might be a lot to absorb, I think the meme Teddy Bear and P-Die are two really great narratives, and they're easy for other people to also come on board too. There's going to be a lot of hype around them. It's going to be harder to hype Atropa, even though it's going to run. It can't not run if P-Die and Teddy Bear are running. Like, it has to, once you guys understand liquidity and all that stuff. So, but in terms of, it may not be as exciting for you, but definitely P-Die and Teddy Bear, like 100%. I would say those two.
Yeah. And even Tangang tokens, stick with butt. HOA, I definitely will be looking at Tangang tokens as well. It really just depends how much liquidity you've got to spread around. But for me, the better play is the Atropa ecosystem, just because of the design of the system. But that's just me. I think the Atropa. Yeah, if you don't have a lot of bullets and you just want to keep it simple, get some of the core tokens and maybe P-Die and Teddy Bear. Yeah. And so my boy Almighty here was talking about independence. So independence out of steel right now, 95K. So again, I've showed this many times on the channel about how to actually find the Atropa token. So you go to the address. I'm not going to show it now, but I'll just see if independence comes up. No, it doesn't look like. Oh, hang on, here it is. Yeah, so this is the independence token. But I show a process for actually how to find the token addresses properly as well, guys. So check that out on my channel. I won't go through all of them, but yeah, there you go. This is a steal. If I can just quickly address this one, because this is a big part of what my channel is about. Kingsway. The mind is everything, man. The mind is everything. If you don't have the right kind of mindset to be able to receive the wealth, you're not going to be able to hold it. You're not going to be able to keep it, but also you're going to cheat your way out of it as well. The greed is going to get to you. You're going to want more. You're going to expect more, and you're going to end up with nothing. That's one of the biggest things that you need to understand. So, but even before you get to the point of sudden wealth, Matty Allen is big on the sudden wealth syndrome concept. I just think it's I don't look at those kind of things as like an anomaly of the mind. It's just a byproduct of a malfunction of thinking. So yeah, really get your mind sharp. Get your mind sharp and have the right kinds of plans and strategies. That's what I'm doing. I personally meditate. I run a meditation center because I fundamentally believe I have to have the right mindset if I'm going to generate the right kind of wealth. Otherwise, there's just no chance. Like the ones who make it are the ones who have emotional control. So if you don't have any emotional mastery, then yeah.
Kingsway.
Wolf?
Yeah, Kingsway, man. That's a cool question. Number one, relax, stay calm, but get focused on your values, like what your core driving values are, and just come from there. And that's all that's all masculinity is. I'm assuming you're a guy because your name's Kingsway. So like when you're in touch with your core values, even if I go on a bender on a Saturday night with my friends and I'm like wrecked, dude, my core values bring me right back on Sunday morning, so to speak, right? And in the week, and like the things I have to serve, and like always knowing like I need to be a certain kind of guy who's ready to help out a friend or a family member at the drop of a hat. That's like a big value of mine. If anyone needs help, I'm the guy that can be like, yeah, I got you. Don't worry, I got you. You know, I can pick somebody up. So like that's a strong value, even if I was out doing whatever on Saturday night, right? Like, so well, your values always bring you back, and the money's just going to amplify that. So if you're just a degenerate, like you'll just be a degenerate, and like you're not really in your masculine, right? So I'm assuming you wrote King's Way because you're probably on some path that wants to put you on your masculine, your highest point. So just get in touch with your values just by doing that and having those to always reorient you, because you've lost money. And trust me, man, you stay in this game, you're going to lose more at some point. You know what I mean? But your values are always going to bring you back. And when you make those big wins and they do really well, you'll be able to go out, enjoy it, absolutely enjoy yourself, have a great time, do those things you want to do, whatever vices, but you'll come right back to your values, your grounding things. That's all you need to know, man. Just have those strong values that and then you'll be fine. The Southern Wealth thing, it just affects these people that they don't have values. So they get money, and what do? They just are dopamine hitters. They just want to satisfy all their dopamine. We all have them, right? Like, I want to party, I like girls, I like all these things, but that becomes all these people's life, and they call it sudden wealth syndrome, and they're buying little things from their childhood or like weird trinkets like an old lady would, you know what I mean? They're just trying to suffice these weird emotional holes, and we all have them. Even if you're in your masculine, you have them, but what makes you masculine is that your values overwhelm all those other things, and you focus on building something bigger. You know what I mean? You're not just trying to satisfy all those little needs you have or those emotional holes you have from childhood. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you're on the King's Way at that point. You know what I mean? And you're not going to know what sudden wealth syndrome is. You're just able to do more stuff and help more people and create a bigger fucking castle, that benefit everybody.
I love that. That's a really cool perspective, actually. So, I would love to hear your perspective on this as well. I've given my perspective in my channel earlier, but I'd love to hear your perspective, Saint Wolf.
What?
This question here on the screen. So, Ambelta is asking, what does your exit look like, and will you be selling into stable when selling?
I think about this. This should be a big part of what you're focused on. You saw stablecoins, DPEG, et cetera. So you should have a diverse plan of how to do it. I'm not totally sure yet what my plan is going to be, because as you see, the crypto markets seem to be changing every cycle now. But obviously, stablecoins, but it's still a vector of attack, but from whatever. So where would I pivot from there? I'll have a plan. So if I feel like I'm not sleeping well holding DAI anymore, I'm going to have to figure out what to do, but that can change next month. So, right now I'm diversified in different crypto I really like, that I'm okay accepting like a big drawdown. Like, I didn't sell any of my Pulse. I haven't sold certain things I have, even though they've drawn down. I'm just okay being there versus holding dollars or even a stable. Like, I'd rather be in incentive and let it draw down than put that money in a stable, let's say, right? So, but at some point you will move into stables, you know what I mean? But it's going to be hard to say right now what the environment's going to be like in 6 months or a year, where we'll have to look at, well, are the stables going to be stable? What's the overall crypto environment look like? You know what I mean? So you should have a plan that has like 5 things. Okay. You should have, and then if you're uncertain, you should just go into all 5. Like, that's part of crypto too. Is like, I've accepted that I'm holding stables right now. I have crypto I like. I have some cash. I have bank. I have some stocks, and I can take a hit somewhere, and it hurts. But you have to be ready for that. You got to be diversified. We've seen some crazy things in crypto if you've been around long enough. Yeah, hope that answers that one. It's a rotating thing, man. There's not a certain answer for that one. Yeah, it's about confidence. It's about confidence. Yeah. I think the bigger structures that are coming in, Wall Street, because I know Wall Street. I have so many stories about Wall Street to tell you guys, but like, we don't have time in this video. But like, because I've hung out in Manhattan a lot. I've hung out with like some really like legacy people on fucking Wall Street, dude. I've been at the parties where people are wrecked, and I've heard the stories. Like, I've been around that Wolf of Wall Street world, dude. Huh?
Are the parties like what they show in the movies?
Yeah, 100%. And like, but what they don't show you is when some of these guys get wrecked, the things that come out of their mouth about crypto or the world or how they see like money and stuff like that. Like, some of these conversations I've had, like, they'll haunt me to my grave.
Same. You got me hooked there. You got me hooked. What's the story?
No, there's so many, man. I don't even know where to start. But like some of these people, they're sharks, man. They're hunters. Okay. It's not even that. They have no conscientiousness at all. Okay, none.
They just
Zero.
don't care about people.
Zero. They have zero conscientiousness. And when I remember just some of my experiences, like my heart will still drop because like some of the conversations even I've heard toward crypto are like, yeah, man, these people are ruthless. Okay, let me just sum it up with that. So Wall Street's here, okay, and we'll do another video stories. But one thing you got to take away is that the level of ruthlessness that could come, we haven't really seen yet. Like I don't think it's going to match what a BNB would be or any of these people. Like these people have no conscientiousness. All right, and a lot of these people, and what they could do, man, is God, I don't even know the question anymore. What was the fucking question? The kind of pressure they're going to put, and what's the word, like emotional, like we were talking about moving into stables or whatever, like the amount of pressure they're going to put to break certain things. They're going to want to disrupt trust in anything they can because they want to make liquidity flow to them. Right. So just as I expressed about Atropa is building this giant basin that's going to pull in all this liquidity from all parts of crypto that come in. Well, people in Wall Street or these big bankers or, whatever, BlackRock, they want everybody to come to them. And one way they do it is not necessarily showing that they're so trustworthy. They can attack other vectors and make other things in places look untrustworthy. Okay, so we don't know what's going to be under attack next, but knowing what I know about the kind of people we're dealing with, there's things coming. So, yeah. I express. I mean, no, I'll talk about. Maybe I'll tell a story in my next Atropa video.
Yeah, man.
About
I would
people.
love to hear some kind of story about that. It's definitely yeah. I would love to hear something like that. So, yeah. So back to the charts again. This is Mantisa USDT. So
okay,
guys, these are the plays that you can have within the Atropa ecosystem. It's like I had to break my mind of everything against just Pulse. That way of thinking is different in the Atropa ecosystem because of the way everything is bonded in such unique and different ways. There's ratios between so many different tokens. So if you're just getting into Mantisa, for example, the play here is to maybe you might want to rotate this into USDT and then vice versa when it's down here. So it's like, yeah, there's so many opportunities here. So this is Almighty put me onto this one. So good on you, Almighty. So this is another very, very slept on token within the Atropa ecosystem, Mantisa. And some of the alpha on that is Maria was alluding to the fact that is going to be the gateway into like TradFi, the TradFi system. So yeah, Mantisa is definitely one. As soon as I heard about it, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to be all up in that. So because I felt like it was new. What else have we got here? So we got the independent contract. So we had the independent contract there. So good job, Almighty. Not financial advice, BFF, definitely.
Yeah, someone mentioned BFF earlier too. Yep, dude, BFF's I don't even need to say it. Bestie friends forever. It's gonna do phenomenal.
Yeah, bestie freedom fighters. And watch this space. I think I've got some pretty sick shirts. I've been designing some shirts. Like, okay, would I wear this? And if I would wear it, then like I'm pretty meticulous.
Man, we need some cool no nuke stuff too. I'm thinking about creating maybe a site for merchandise for that because we need like the mugs, the shirts. I think it's a great meme. No nukes.
Yeah, man. There's
BFF and no nukes.
Any number of them. So you could do what Muddy suggests. Full DGen, 100% TRSI.
Yeah, so you guys help me out. TRSI, I thought it was TSFI. What's TRSI?
TRSI is also in there. So I've been a lover of TRSI for a long time.
Okay.
You have TSFI, but TRSI is another one. And one thing that I love, I always use this as a great example because I always use this as an example to show like the power of the bonding. So when this first came out, it basically went up and it crashed. And then from this point, I mean, obviously all along the way, it was getting liquidity bonded, but just to conceptualize from this low, because of the liquidity bonding, no one even really buys TRSI, but it keeps going up with the rest of the ecosystem. I mean, all these charts, this is exactly what's happening in Teddy Bear, these kinds of movements. We've just seen all these downtrends in Atropa, PDI, Teddy Bear. It's all the same, but TRSI really exemplifies the fact that the liquidity bonding takes the whole ecosystem up, because this is one of the tokens that, yeah, again, isn't getting bought. So, and I know like that's a bit of an inside joke with me and Muddy as well. We love TRSI. So, nice, man. Okay,
I'll have to check that out. I hold TSFI, man. But I'm not that familiar with TSFI or the connections. But I've had TSFI for a long time, not forever.
Same. So I mean, there's so many, man. There's so many to choose from, and that's the beauty, and that's also the vibe that I love about the Atropa ecosystem. It's not like TSFI is shit, you got to buy TRSI, and I'm gonna go invade all your Twitter spaces and just tell you how shit your holdings are. It's like it's the one organism, and that's what makes it so cool, and it can attract people for a lot of different things. Like Mantisa, for example, is like what we say. Almighty was saying. Like even the logo. The logo is like this little logo here. It's shouting out into infinity, and like one god or something. It means one of them means like one god, and one of them means shouting out into the infinity. It's just like epic. I'm just like,
that is
I'm
cool,
so
man.
glad I got into this. That's so cool. Exactly.
How did you learn that? Did you just Google that, or?
Almighty asked Maria in Amsterdam. So
okay.
In Amsterdam.
Shout out to Almighty. Nice one, man. That's cool.
Almighty. Almighty's in the scene, man. Almighty's been educating me. Like, what a dude.
And
Almighty's
the chart looks good. How old is that chart? That's an old chart, right?
This one here. This one, you mean the Mantisa one?
Yeah, the one we just talked about. Yeah. No. The one you said it means God.
Yeah, that's Mantisa. That's this one.
Oh, that is Mantisa. Oh.
But this is Mantisa like, to USDT. So
it's like Thai, you said?
I think it's Thai. Yeah, it's Thai. So, and then if you look at it to USD, it's looking pretty ugly. If you look at it to Pulsechain, it's looking like a decent buy. So, but again, it's like, you know, how do you want to look at it? I mean, it's dropped. Yeah.
So see this candle right now that we're filling out.
This one, yeah.
Yeah. So go all the way to the left. See this? This is a vector candle. This big tall candle. Okay, we've now filled out about half of that. I like to see about half to 2/3 of those filled. So structurally, this is about to be done, completing. It looks like to me it's downturn. And I think if we just pull down a little slightly bit more, it'll make me really happy. But this actually looks good. If it fills this out, you've got a nice kind of completion of the structure, to be totally honest.
And so completion of the structure being potential reversal.
Yeah, that's just how I think about it. When I see the structure, I want it to be finished. And so, yeah, even you've got from the high, you could say it's like a 2, 3. Yeah, it's like a 3, I'm not into like the 5s and the 3s, but it actually does pull a nice 3 wave down. And it's filling out that first green candle beautifully right now. And yeah, so this could reverse pretty soon. And if people are really bullish on it, I'll have to find out more. This could be a good trade coming up.
Beautiful. There you go, fellas. So, and again, I mean, it's just following everything that's happening with the Atropa ecosystem. They're all kind of following these kinds of patterns, but now you can see this specific pattern, this candle pattern forming here. So, yeah, I mean, you're way better on the technical analysis than I am. So,
and your sell volume is bleeding out, so the sellers are becoming exhausted. So it's lining up perfectly with that.
Yeah. There you go. That's another little bit of alpha. So sell volume's going out. So you're getting a reversal. I mean, look what happened here when this, and these are the things that I don't even think about. And then people like you come along and just give these nuggets these beautiful nuggets. So I
Nuggets.
appreciate that. So
Nuggets. It
all
ripped
right,
73x, pulse down 40. Just take a look at you. So thank you for your time.
I will just have a quick look at TRSI in a second. But Kingsway, I would believe,
Oh,
and I'm very glad to hear that. And I want to wish you all the luck because you're young and you got your whole life ahead of you, man. And honestly, the amount of people that, particularly on this channel, are like, oh, you just. I had this with Marcus the other day as well. Like, oh, you just posted this thing, and I was just thinking about it. And this is what I was trying to get to before. Like these synchronistic moments. That for me, it's like there's more happening here than just the logical blockchain stuff. I'm
yeah.
very yeah, my brain's gone. I'm totally fried at the moment because I'm feeling sick and it's like really late. But yeah, I'm really down with like the synchronicities of what's going on with this whole Atropa ecosystem. So yes, I would believe that you're in the right place, my friend. So
Yeah,
freedom and
you're on the
ability.
right track.
The 73x, it ripped 73x versus Pulse and down. The Mantisa. Okay, so yeah, we'll have a quick look at that one. So
Would you? If it,
here we go. So this is Mantisa to Pulse. So this is again to the USD, and I'll show it to Pulse. Sorry, my computer goes super laggy when I stream.
yeah.
And now I'll go. Yes. All right, so yeah, it doesn't look. I mean, nothing looks as bad against Pulse, but I mean, look at the run that it had. Yeah, and then if Pulse runs, what's this going to do to all these tokens? So yeah, I just 73x to the top, from the bottom to the top. That's insane.
Ripped 70. It did. Wow.
Oh, sorry,
That's nice.
that's 730%. That's not a 73x. That's a 7. That's a 8.
Almighty, did you ride that up the whole way? Anybody ride that up? I mean, that's nice. That's a nice run.
Wouldn't surprise me if Almighty did. Almighty's just cleaning up across the board.
Yeah, I saw your talk with him a couple months back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing that.
Almighty, good young dude. So let me have a look at this contract address just very quickly. I'll post it in the chat. Copy the contract address. Here you go, Todd. So again, Todd, I'll show this again. So St. Wolf's, this is St. Wolf's YouTube here. But if you want to find things on people's YouTube, you simply use the search function on the computer. I don't know if you can do it. There is no search function on the phone, but this is a hidden piece of alpha. So if I wanted to find how to find contract addresses in a Atropa ecosystem, for example, you might not have a video on it, but I know I've got a video on it, for example. So if people do want to look at these things, like you find it on, I'll see if you have spoken about it actually, just out of curiosity. No, so it brings up the Grays currency, but this is how you find it, guys. And
what did you search up? What contract address?
I just searched how to find contract addresses. I just was curious if you had any content on that, because people quite often ask, okay, what's the contract addresses for X, Y, and Z for the Atropa ecosystem?
Hey, I'll make that video today, maybe.
Do it, man. Yeah, do it. How to find contract addresses? Copy and paste like Maria's the GitHub. Just the more that is out there, it's going to help people to find it and double check. Like always double check everything. Like Richard Hart's very big on, one of his things that I learned a lot of was like check and double check. Don't just go to the first source and go with it. Like just see this contract address here on YouTube. Like go and verify it yourself. It's just a good habit to get into. So
yeah. And there, guys, there's so many scams out there. Really be careful. Double check, triple check everything.
Exactly.
We're as content creators, we're just massive vectors of attack. I'm bombarded daily with crap, and but yeah, Chad, you guys aren't following. Definitely go St. Wolf Crypto. We're gonna get these ideas out there. The last video from yesterday was PDI. So we're all about Atropa, Pulsechain, PDI. 414.
So I have his links in the description, St. Wolf's links, but definitely, I mean, yeah, there you go. I think you're going to be an extremely valuable asset as an experienced person in cryptocurrency. You're living on your cryptocurrency now, like you're essentially quote unquote retired. So you're living that life now. You're living the life that Kingsway is trying to achieve. So
Takes
Saint
time.
Wolf is like Saint Wolf is like an extremely valuable asset to the community, and his your understanding of technical analysis is like I think we should do this more, man, and like
Yeah.
really dig into the technical analysis things. I know like one of my favorite streamers, like duo streamers, is Axis Alive and Corey Costa when they get on and Axis shares his TA. But I feel like you've got an extremely good eye for TA, and I mean you're living off crypto at the moment, so you must have a good eye for it. So
yeah, they're very talented too. We definitely come to some different conclusions. I've talked some TA with Axis, and like but it's what conclusion you come to from that, that matters. That's all that matters, really.
And it's good to have those multiple perspectives.
Yeah, you got to definitely listen to a few people, and you got to make a choice, because we all get the same information. We all see the same charts, and you got to arrive at a conclusion. And all you got to do is be right most of the time, and you'll do great in crypto. Because in general, this is really important. In general, tokens go up in crypto. When there's a bull run, generally everything goes up. But if you're sitting in bad ideas, bad projects, that's how you lose in crypto. So you kind of just have to get it right most of the time. So,
and having Moon King talks about this a lot. Exit plans, strategies, like really
you should be DCA in, DCA out. You should have a plan. Yeah, Moon King's great, man.
He's brilliant. I love him.
Yeah,
love him.
What him and Ian are doing for the ecosystem, and they're out there.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. They were screaming about PDI, and I don't know if they're in a 414 and Atropa, but they were screaming about Teddy Bear and PDI from the start, from the summer, man. That was great. Yeah, they were on it, bro.
I wish I listened. I wish I listened.
Cheers to them. Yeah.
No, I know. So we're very blessed. We got a lot of talent in this community, in this ecosystem. So
oh yeah. And dude, I can't. I'm totally stoked that we finally did this. I mean, we've been trying to do this for some time, and a lot of anticipation, but it's been really great. Yeah.
Definitely, man. I've really enjoyed it. I'm sorry I'm not on my A game, but I've really enjoyed it. Is there anything that you wanna finish up on? Anything else that you want to share? Anything you want to talk about?
No, it's well, I'll say just last thing to chat. Clean up your feed. Use this time. If anybody was over pumping you emotionally the last few weeks, really consider unfollowing certain people. Get your feed really clean. You know what I mean? You need a lot of opinions. Okay, you need to follow a good amount of people, but make sure there are people who are bringing you good alpha, are bringing you good values, and have some beat on which way the markets are going. Right. So, I had a video at the end of May 30th, saying there was a correction coming. It's in there. It's the only bearish video I've ever made where I'm like, hey, there's a crash coming. And then, and if you also look at price targets, I go over quickly because I don't want to be the TA guy, but I do share it with you guys in there. But if anybody was overhyping you and telling you now's the time to go all in, it was obvious to anybody that there was some not everything was perfect. Like pretty much just sum it up, when we're at the bottom, there's a bottom when the news is constantly bearish and we stop going lower. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, that means that there's no more sellers left. And when you're at a top, it's a top when bullish news is coming nonstop and the price isn't breaking to a higher high, which is what happened over the last couple months. We were making it was nonstop bullish news and ETF in this country and that, and we weren't going higher, which tells you that the price has to come down a little bit and test some lower levels of structure. Okay, so that's one way you can think of tops and bottoms. So anyone who didn't give you some idea that, hey, there may be a little bit of volatility at least coming up, just think about that. Think about that, you know, because all you need to do is not get led astray. You don't need to get every winner. You just need to make sure no one's driving you off a cliff and making you buy like tops, you know, all the time or something like that, right? And if you can do that consistently, or at least better than everyone else, you're going to do great in crypto, you know. So use the time, clean up your feed, get your values in straight, listen to good people. That's the best advice I can tell you, because nobody knows what's going to happen for sure. Nobody. Not BlackRock, only God, man. Nobody actually knows what's going to happen. We're just trying to come to the best conclusions we can with the information we have, and that's all we can do, you know. And yeah.
Awesome, I love it. There we go, folks. That's some good advice from a man who's pretty much retired and full-time in crypto. So I would definitely take heed of that advice, because I think that that's actually brilliant advice. It's really about shaping your reality in a way. You know, if your feed is full of negativity, it's going to affect your emotions. It's going to affect how you view the charts when they're going down. But if you have other people who, it's not to say just block it all out. Like, you should have you should be able to objectively observe all of it.
I like a good laugh. I like some of those Twitter feuds. They crack me up. I love when Hivit Hacks gets in a fight with somebody. It's great. It's like the best. But yeah, in general, clean up your feeds, so you have just good stuff coming at you that outweighs the drama, or just people who just don't know what's happening, like, who are clueless.
Exactly. Awesome. King Daniel also joined. What's up, King Daniel? So we're just about to finish up. So good to see you as well, King.
Dude, our stream is filled with chat is filled with kings. Right on.
It is. Yeah, we have plenty of kings in here. So
cheers.
Real chats. Check out real chats from the king. All right.
All right, brother.
Saint, thank you so much, man. I'm so glad we did this. I hope we can do it again in the future.
For sure, 100%.
Let's stay in touch. I'm happy to come on your channel as well sometime. So
yeah. Oh, I'll send you a message about that. I got a plan, so I'll let you know.
Okay. Awesome, man. Sounds good. Perfect. All right. Everyone, take care. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for the engagement. Have a good night and a good day wherever you are.
Chat. See you, everybody. Good night.
See you, bro. Take care.